Hello, Cubs fans, and welcome to a brand new edition of Cubs on Tap. I am the one and only Ron Luce. I am joined tonight so far by Juice. We got Joey Ricotta coming here in a little bit. He's joining us late, but we have a very special guest tonight. A guest that I am admittedly very excited to talk to. I've been going back and forth with this guy on Twitter for probably a little over a year now, and just a good dude, and we've been meaning to get him on. We finally got him on, the one and only Dubs. At Mike Dubs Radio on Twitter. Dubs, what's up, dude?
Dude, I am excited to be finally on here.
I'm excited to finally have you on here. It's been too long. We've been like joshing and bullshitting about this thing now.
Oh yeah, for real.
A good 6 months.
Yep, for real.
But we finally accomplished it. Accomplished it. But gentlemen, how are we doing tonight? How are you doing, Dubs? How are you doing, Juice? We'll ask the cheese man himself when he gets on later how he's doing. But how's everybody feeling tonight?
I am feeling, hold on. I got to try to do this right. I'm sitting down, but the little Strowman strut.
I like that.
No, I can't do it, but.
I love that. That's a great way to describe it. Juice, how are you? Can you one up that or no?
I'm excited to talk to Dubs because we come from like the same kind of growing up area. Cub fan in the south suburbs, Cal City. I was in South Holland, so a town over. Dubs, I got to ask you before we ask any baseball questions. I saw on your profile picture you're an Aurelio's guy.
Yep.
But second pizza place in that area.
There used to be. Well, it's not around anymore, but it used to be like 5 minutes from my house. I don't know if you remember a place in Cal City called Jimmy's Pizza.
I don't.
Okay.
No,
it was like a one. Yeah, it was like there's one of one, family owned, but that would have been my second, probably my first choice actually.
Yeah, you probably had a couple breakfast days at Continental over there off of the highway too, I bet.
Yep. Oh yeah.
A couple times I ended up in there. I grew up in South Holland, but we were always Arnello's pizza people.
Okay, yep.
From Glenwood.
Yep.
Yeah, which still to this day, the guy's got it out in Tinley. You know, shameless plug there to my man Rich making the pies. Has been feeding me for 31 years. But yeah, man, I'm excited to have you on. Followed you from afar from a real long time. I know I just followed you today, but I knew who you were. Right?
Followed you today. Long time.
Yeah. First time caller.
I did say followed you from afar though. It was more or less like I knew who you were. I saw your stuff but yeah, man, excited to talk to you. Good dude, great content. And yeah, man, excited to talk Cubs baseball with somebody who lives and dies with the team as much as we do.
Dubs, I'll tell you what, dude. Like, I feel like the moment that everybody, like, because there's people that knew you on Twitter, right? Like, we've known about you for a long time, and we've been going back and forth with you. But like, I feel like the new wave of like Cubs Twitter fan knows you from those iconic win videos of you running down the street with the double flag.
Yeah, and it's funny how many people are like. Wait, it's light out where you are? I'm like, no, that is the same video. It's the same
Just
one.
Run it back. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I am too like out of shape to run down the street.
Hey, but I tell you what, you do that over the course of a winning baseball season, you're going to be in shape by the end of it.
Exactly.
Just a new video every day.
But it's funny because people ask, well, like, why do you get that started? And I'm like, okay, so what was it? 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. I was like, man, I really want to get followed by the Cubs. And so I'm trying to get them to follow me. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, you know what? If the Marquis chimes in and goes, what are you going to do if they follow you? And I go, I will run down the street with my W flag. Literally 5-10 minutes after that, follow. And they go, where's that video? And I'm like,
that's incredible.
And all I see is their little, like, their tweet. And I'm like, what are they talking about? They don't even fit. Oh, they do. So I made my wife go stand out in the street. And I go, can you just film me? And she goes, hurry up. This is embarrassing. As the school bus of kids are coming.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
See, the background of like how that came about makes that video so much better now. Like it was already great to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And I always told myself, I was like, one of these days I'm going to make my way up to Minneapolis, and Dubs and I are going to both.
Hey, anybody that wants to come up here, my good buddy Eddie, he has his kids, Riker and Aramis. They've done it, and we're gonna do a little collab here, and then Anybody wants to come up, just come up to Minneapolis, hit me up at Mike Dubs Radio. Because I did it for when the Cubs played the Twins. I ran in front of Target Field. And then I'm gonna be in Florida for opening day. So I got something planned. My wife hates me.
Hey, I'm very excited about
She said we're gonna have to do this at like 7 a.m. And I'm like, all right.
Oh yes. See now this Dubs, this makes me excited because now I have something else to be like, because obviously Juice and I have talked about it on the show. We told you before we got on, like we're gonna, we're going to opening day. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
But now I have something to legitimately look for. Like I want them to win because I need that video when I'm migrating over to Murphy's bleachers, so I can just be like, yeah, Dubs. That's what I need. I need that in my life. So now I need a Cubs win even more than we already did.
Just knock Corbin Burns all over the yard. I think that's going to be their opening day starter.
It's got to be.
And in the cold,
they might make it Woodruff, though.
Yeah.
They might make it Woodruff and then have him and Burns for games 1 and 2, which sucks because those are the 2 games I'm going to be at. So I'm expecting like 2-1 ball games both days, more likely than not.
We should bet and see if the Cubs even score a run when Ron's there. If those are going to be the 2 starters from the beginning. I hate to be negative here, but I mean it's a distinct possibility that there are no runs scored, and the third game is finally when the Cubs get off the schneid. But with that said, hey, 1-0 ball games, as long as they score 1, that's all we need. Hey,
absolutely.
Early April.
I want to see Stroh's first win in a Cubs uniform, dude. That's the whole reason I'm going to the first 2 games. Like that's the only reason. I literally told myself, I'm like, it's a Thursday, Friday. I might as well take off. And I'm like, and I'm going to go to both games. Why? Because I know Stroman's probably going to start game number 2 because Kyle's probably getting the ball on opening day. So I want to be at opening day and I want to be at Stroman's first start. We'll knock him out the first 2 days of the year. It's fine. Now we need 2 wins to start the year. A little 2-0 going into the weekend, and then we can ride high and then it'll be good. It'll be dandy. But gentlemen, we are here to talk some Cubs baseball, and there's been developments, right? So since our last show, when Juice, Joey, and I talked, we were talking about the Cubs signing Nick Castellanos. That's no longer a thing anymore. The Correa thing was still like a maybe. Well, that's no longer a thing anymore, and we'll get to that here in a little while as well. But Dubs, we got to give you the floor here really quick and let you kind of just, because we did this and we always do this with new people that come on the show, like, where did your Cubs fandom start? Like, everybody's got an origin story of being a Cubs fan, and we'd like you to share yours.
Well, mine is my dad was a Cubs fan. My mom was a White Sox fan, and my mom's mom was a Cubs fan. So she was all for like, hey, we're going to make you a Cubs fan. We're going to make you a Cubs fan. And I'm like, all right. And then I saw Ken Griffey Jr. play against the White Sox one year, and we were there, and I was like, I was kind of like, Mom, now I know why you like the White Sox. They got some cool uniforms. My dad goes, no, that's not happening. And so my grandma and them, they would always take me to Cubs games, never White Sox games. And then ever since then, I've been influenced.
I love that.
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
Except for 2016, but
that's okay. Hey, but that's fun though, because like I totally feel that's kind of similar to like mine, except the fact of like both of my parents were Cubs fans. Like they were already living in the south suburbs. Like my mom grew up. My mom was a nights and weekends season ticket holder for a long time, actually, which is hysterical because anybody that knows my mother now would never expect her to be that person because now she hates crowds. But like we've got autographed baseballs of like Girardi and Sandberg and Grace and like all those guys, just because she was like a super fan. So, and then my dad grew up, he was born on actually out in your guys' neck of the woods. We talked about this earlier. And then as he got older, he actually ended up living out in the Northwest burbs for quite a while. And that really influenced his Cubs fandom. And because his dad was also a Cubs fan. So for me, it's just lineage. Like that's what I knew. And like, that I never wavered. And like, I was excited for my friends in 05 because like I knew what was going on and obviously was old enough to understand it and everything. Right. But like, I was happy for them, but I'm like, the Cubs is coming someday. And then like 16 was cool because I had a bunch of diehard Sox fans that'll be the first ones to say anything terrible about the Cubs, be like, hey man, good for you guys. Like high five. So I feel that's a lot of fun. And no, it's always good to hear everybody's origin story of the Cubs fan because we all have the story. It's
and like Juice said, he grew up town over for me, Southside Chicago. I'm sure like him, plenty of friends that were Sox fans. And then when 05 hit, it was oh, let's party. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'll just drink with you guys. Let's
I'll share a beer or two with you. It's fine. I hear that, dude. I live out in Orland Park. I grew up in Oak Lawn, so like I'm a hardcore South Side guy. Yeah, like 95% of my friends are literally. That's why it's been such a hard thing to get this ticket filled, Juice, for opening day, is because I only have like 5 friends that are Cubs fans. Like the rest of my friends are all Sox fans.
Good thing you have a podcast, Ron.
Yeah, right.
We got a couple hundred to pick from it all. We got
an army.
And it's not like it's a seat that they have to sit next to you the whole time. It is a bleacher seat, but I will be joining you. They don't have to for opening day.
Hell yeah, like they don't have to sit with me. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where like you don't have to, but you should, because we're gonna have a good time.
Well, of course,
it's a bad day. It's a bad day to be any type of beer anywhere near that ballpark. It's just going to be a big party on Thursday, April 7th. But gentlemen, as we just noted, tomorrow, so today, if you're listening to this podcast, this will be published tomorrow, 2 weeks till opening day, still plenty of spring training to be played. But we've had a little bit of spring training now, and we've been able to see some of the guys. We've seen 2 Marcus Stroman starts. We've seen 2 Kyle Hendricks starts. We're probably going to get another Justin Steele start here in the next couple days as well. We've learned now. There you go.
Well,
perfect.
If you're listening Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. I wasn't sure if they were keeping the same rotation. We still haven't seen Wade Miley, though. So
no.
That scares me a little bit. I want to see Wade Miley before the season starts. But I mean, guys, we'll just start nice, broad, and open and see where this takes us. But like, what's a couple of like your early spring training thoughts about this Cubs team in 2022? And Dubs, obviously, we want to start with you. You are the special guest here tonight. But like, what have you seen so far that you're like, ooh, or maybe something that you're like, ooh?
I don't know about you guys, but so far, Kyle Hendricks' 2 starts, I'm like, ooh, they are just hitting the ball off you, and I'm like, we got to fix that quick.
Yeah.
But I've been liking I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Owen Casey.
I think it's Owen Casey.
Is it
Casey?
Or
is it Casey? I know it's got an AI. I feel like that's a K.
Oh, I thought it was Cassie. Well, him.
Whatever.
I can even see him. He can hit the ball. Him and Clint Frazier. Clint Frazier's my dude. Yes. I'm so excited to see him at Wrigley this year.
Yeah, I agree. I hope he grows back the facial hair and the long hair too, because like, God, he was that was majestic. I hope he brings that back. And he's running around left field every day, stone colding beers after a game with
right
on the warning track.
Toss me up.
Yeah, I need some of that in my life. Juice, what are your quick early thoughts here from spring training so far?
Ron, we go through this every year where I look at spring training and I'm like, yeah, it's a way for these guys to get into shape, get some bats. I don't like to hit the panic button too early, but like Dub said, the whole Kyle Hendricks thing is concerning. The thing I've been seeing too is I'm a big fan of Nick Madrigal tags. Today, another high throw by Wilson Contreras, able to get that and get the tag down. That's fantastic. And we knew going in he's a great defender, but just to have it be shown on the field and to see him out there, I think the Cubs, like, if you look at the way this team is constructed, I'm really intrigued to see, because there's a wide array of outcomes that I think that this team could be. At their best, maybe they're a wild card team like we talked about last episode, but just to watch some of these guys get at bats and get, some time in the field, I think is something that I've enjoyed watching, because I know that, like we said, there's going to be guys who don't make this team who are going to be huge pillars in the future. But to get them like out there now and to watch what they're able to do at such a young age, I think is really cool, to sit there and kind of look at this glass half full, like we've been trying for every Cub fan that's out there, right? Like, yeah, 2016 was great. And last year was painful watching all those guys go, but flip the page. It's over. Like, it's time to reinvest and to look at this new Cubs team and say, all right, let's learn about these guys, because half the fun of 2016 was watching all of them grow up and then watching them succeed. And all good guys. And I'm really intrigued with the future. And I think that's a lot of what we've seen over spring training too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to agree with you guys on the Kyle Hendricks. I'm still having faith. I'm thinking he's probably just, to me, one of those pitchers that's the most out of rhythm, right? Because like he's a creature of habit. They call him the professor. Yeah. He's a creature of habit. When the stop and the start of the season, like he might be one of those guys that really struggled just getting in a groove. So I agree with you. I am concerned, but I think if he goes 3 in a row, then I'll be like, this isn't good. But like if he gets it together in that third game, I'm feeling a little better. I also love the Frazier and like again, like you said, the growing up of this team too. But like obviously for me, Marcus Stroman's a big one because like I'm a Stroh nerd. Like I've got the Blue Jays jersey here. I've got, everybody knows I've fawned enough over him in the past. But like I am really excited with how he's pitched. Today, a little off. He looked like he was struggling with some of his pitches today. Just command wasn't as good today. I think some of that too, this is the first game that him and Willie have thrown to each other because Jan caught him in game 1. So maybe it is just like a still feeling each other out kind of thing. But that first game, man, he looked good. I mean, 2 innings, perfect 2 innings with 3 Ks. Like that's how you debut in a Cubs uniform, pimp, to get people excited. So that's a big one for me. And a guy that I mentioned to you guys before, and I'm glad Cody, our old friend Cody, don't mind how you doing, buddy, in the comments here brought up, and Juice yelled at me and said, save it for the podcast. I'm really excited about Alfonso Rivas. Like he's looked good. He looks like a guy that took that time he got in the big leagues last season to like kind of, be there and be ready. Because remember, Oakland is this weird team where they'll build, they'll go for it, and then they sell, and then they do it again. Oakland went for it last year, and trading for a bunch of pieces and things like that. Cubs just kind of getting Rivas for not much really at all. And now all of a sudden you look at Alfonso Rivas, he looks good. He's playing a solid defense over at first base. As Cody says here in the comment, the Oppo Taco over the weekend. He's been getting some hits. Our boy Booge also loves him here in the comments. Just a big capitalized Rivas. Like, I think Alfonso Rivas and Frank Schwindel this year make a very pleasant first base platoon. Oh, yeah. And you're going to see both of their bats in the lineup a lot too now because of the DH. We can actually get excited about the DH with this Cubs team because these are both guys that can hit for higher average. They're not the power slugging first baseman, but they're the finesse first baseman, right? They remind me the hits you need. Yeah, they remind me kind of in a lot of ways like a Freddie Freeman in his early days of his career. Hello, Joey Ricotta. Welcome to the show, sir.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
The usual, my guy. But I'll get you caught up to speed here in just a second, Joe. But like with Rivas, like he's giving me like early days Freddie Freeman vibes, right? Because remember early in Freddie's career, he wasn't the biggest power hitter. He'd give you like 18, 19, 20, but he was driving in runs. He was getting the high average and playing a good defensive first base. Rivas kind of gives me that kind of vibe, like as that kind of hitter. He's not going to slug 30 homers and 100 ribbies this year, but you better believe he's going to be like an 18 with like 73 kind of guy potentially. Like he's got that high contact upside, and Schwindel's kind of the same way. So for me, those are 2 early ones. But Joey, we're talking about some early spring training thoughts, and I want to get to yours as well. And obviously, we're talking with our boy Dubs. We're super excited about that here as well. So get us filled in, man. Like, what are your thoughts so far? Just those early, quick, initial thoughts so far from spring training.
Yeah, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. I've been really focused in on fantasy baseball and with basketball lately. So, in the gambling side of things, so I have not caught much actual action when it comes to spring training, but I have been tracking it. And I like what I've seen. And first of all, how's it going, Dubs? Because it's the first time I think we've had a chance to talk. So obviously on Twitter, you're a great follow and you're very interactive. So this is cool, man.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry for being late, guys, by the way. But no.
We know you were off catching that last game because you got on tap bets responsibility. We get it. You're a big shot now.
Oh yeah, huge, huge. Yeah.
Hey, what are you now on your pick of the day? 11-3.
If we win tonight, yeah. If we win tonight,
okay.
So you're not gonna like my pick though. I don't know if you saw it, Ron. But
what is it?
I'm against the Blackhawks tonight. So
I don't care.
Oh yeah, easily.
I would be against them too. That's easy money.
Yeah, but the Ducks have been playing horrible. So I mean, I'm hoping I'm not.
The Ducks are still better on paper.
Yeah, and they're home. So
I don't know though. The last time the Ducks and the Hawks played, I think the Hawks scored like 7 goals. So
yeah, it was 8-3 last time. It was bad.
Thank you. Yeah. So in fairness, there's some thoughts there, but yeah, man. I mean, early on, Joey, like I know you said you didn't really catch anything, so just to share kind of with what we've said too to get you caught up to speed as well. We all agreed Kyle Hendricks so far is a little like, you're a little nerve wracking. This is we'll see where that goes. Obviously, I said Stroman because I'm a lunatic. The Rivas bit. And Dubs Juice, share your points again with Joey and just let him know because I want to start the conversation. I'm tired of talking. I talk too much on the show. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
No, I said just the Kyle Hendricks. His 2 starts have been kind of shaky, giving up some hits, runs, and also love seeing Owen Casey, who's their new prospect. I think they're number 3 down the pipeline for the Cubs.
I'll look that up.
I'm pretty sure it is. And then also love Clint Frazier too. If he can get back to get some more ABs, I think he'll be a stud in left field for us.
Yeah, I mentioned Nick Madrigal for me. I think the ability up the middle tags wise, and just to kind of Ron, you talked about all these guys being contact guys. This is the whole flip, right? The whole idea of the first run was how frustrating it was that the bats always went cold. Yep. And they relied a lot on hitting the home run for a long time. So now Jed has constructed this lineup for this year to be able to work the ball, put the ball in play, put some pressure on the defense. And I think the smart thing that they're doing is that they're building all guys like that. They're not just – they're looking for power guys, but they're looking for guys who use all fields. And I think that that's kind of the future of where this kind of Cubs team is going to go. And to add defense to it as well – I mean, no one really talks about how great the Cubs were up the middle in 2016 when they actually won it. Like that was like the least mentioned thing defensively of how many outs they or hits they saved via their defense and how many runs were neglected, and they made the pitching staff look so much better. And I think that strong up the middle looking into this year, obviously you're looking at Brendan Davis for the future. A lot of the future kids are looking really, really solid. And I think like I said earlier, and I said on the last podcast, it's time to move on. Learn these new players, learn their names, learn where they came from, and enjoy it because that's half the fun. And it makes 2016 even more – it made it even more fun and interesting and that much sweeter because you watched kids grow up. And this is what's happening right now, and you're missing key plot points if you're not fully committing to it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joey, I see there's always a method to my madness because this is actually a good transition, right? We're talking kind of future now. The top 30 re-ranked prospects for every team in baseball just came out over the last 2 days. And that's kind of meaningful news, especially to a Cubs team, like you guys said, that is transitioning now into this future phase. I actually wanted to share because of the point that Dubs brought up about where Casey was ranked. Cassie, we'll figure that out. We'll get it figured out.
I say Casey too. I have no idea.
I have no idea either. This is going to be one of those things where we need a reporter tomorrow. Somebody tweet a reporter during this show or after the show and be like, how do you say his name? Because we need to know.
Or let's just shoot our shot. We'll get him on. We'll ask him just straight out. How do you say your name?
Yeah. All right, our first question. We're hard hit. How do you say your last name?
Come on, Cubs on Tap and tell us. No, that's actually a great selling point. But this is – so I just want to share the top 10 and then like a couple of meaningful ones outside of the top 10 from the re-rank that just came out. Because, again, for a farm system that's now up and coming, this gives you an indication of how much guys showed out last year because now this is the first real official 2021 in consideration to take advantage of here. So number 10 is now Braylon Marquez. He has fallen from graces. Just shows you how deep the system is now too. DJ Hers is number 9, lefty. He'll probably be in South Bend. So Juice will be out there for quite a few games. Number 8 is Owen Casey. He is now moving firmly into the top 10.
And it is Casey. Jake just said it's Casey.
There we go.
Yes. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate you, my good sir. So Casey, number 7 is actually Kevin Alcantara, which if people recall, that is the outfielder the Cubs got in the Rizzo trade from the Yankees. So that's a significant one to keep in mind because he kind of came out of nowhere. People didn't really know much about him. And then it was like, poof, new ranking. He's your number 7 prospect. And everybody's like, whoa, okay, that's interesting. Number 6 is Pete Crowe Armstrong. For those that don't know who this is, Javier Baez trade with the New York Mets. He's the prospect the Cubs got in return. Was pretty much hurt all of last year.
Fun fact about him, his mom is the mom on Little Big League.
Yes, that's right.
Or in the movie The Little Big League.
Yes.
Did not know that.
I didn't know that.
That is a big like fun fact about Pete Crowe Armstrong.
Yeah,
I see that every once in a while on Twitter when they like somebody will tweet a picture of him and be like, "Did you know?" And I'm like, I think every Cubs fan has heard it now like 15 times.
We're gonna hear it so many times when he enters the big league.
I can't wait, dude.
Sunday Night Baseball, they're gonna be like, here's his mom.
You know his debut. Yeah. You know his debut though, like, because I feel like Boog is kind of like a movie like aficionado a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he strikes me as kind of like a.
I think he mentioned it spring training game yesterday.
I'm sure
when
he
was
did.
Playing.
That strikes me as like
sure
such a Boog thing to know, because Boog is just this like super smart dude that just like has this like kind of like sports fandom nerdiness about him that I just adore. But yeah, so he's number 6. Jordan Wicks is number 5, Cubs first round pick from this past season. Big left-hander out of Kansas State. That's one to mention too, because he'll also be starting in South Bend. So that's a guy you can go watch, Cubs fans, if you're in the area pretty quickly. This one makes me smile so much. Number 4 is Caleb Killian. And this is absolutely deserving. He was like initially ranked in the Cubs farm last year at like number 14, I think was the highest he got to. He absolutely should be 4. We talked about his video game numbers in A-ball to start last season. He had a 32-to-1 walk ratio or K to walk ratio in 4 starts.
Yeah,
he was elite. And one of those starts, I think, was a complete game shutout. Like he was unbelievable. He absolutely should be 4. I think we see him this year, and I think that's the future ace of the Chicago Cubs. And I am saying that with conviction. Number 3 is James Triantos. He was the Cubs' 2nd round pick this year. He's a high school bro. He is good. I remember writing up his draft article. That dude is something else. Christian Hernandez is number 2. I don't think anybody's terribly surprised about that. And obviously number 1 is, which is Dubs. This is where my question comes in, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But Brennan Davis is your number 1. Some notable ones. Nelson Velasquez has jumped up all the way to 16. That shows how good he was last season. Ed Howard's now 14. Amaya is now 13. So that just shows you how loaded the system is compared to where it once was. And that's kind of the big ones. Everybody else isn't terribly surprising, given just kind of if you keep up with Cubs prospects to any degree. But those are the biggest movers, are all the guys that are in the top 10. Like those are the guys that had the seasons last year that everybody can finally go, oh, okay, they took a big step forward. So I'm going to turn the floor just quickly to each of you. Who is the most excited of this re-rank that each of you guys have?
Can I start?
Please do.
Ron, I love you with the Caleb Killian one too. I love that. That gets me super excited. James Triantos. Every time I think about James Triantos or I hear his name and I saw him like climb up to the, what'd you say, 3rd spot?
Yeah, he's number 3.
Just, dude, his hands and just his swing is just so smooth. And he looks like he's going to be just hitting rockets everywhere. I love this kid. Obviously, you can get excited about Christian Hernandez. You can get, like, a lot of these guys are exciting. The one guy that jumps out, like you mentioned him dropping back, was Ed Howard, because I mean, we're going to see this year because he dealt with the injury. And then, I don't think he ever was able to really get into a rhythm last year. So for me, I'm not going to really hold that against him too much. Dude, yeah, Jake Bouge. Triantos is about to be an absolute stud, as he says in the comments here. I agree. He's not going to be there for a little bit, but he's a guy that if he keeps doing what he's been doing and just the way that like he works out too. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever watched like some of his workout videos and stuff.
He's
not
jacked.
Not that it means anything, but like you can just tell like his work ethic is there. And he's somebody who I could see actually moving through the system quicker than you'd expect for somebody that, like he came out of high school. So
yeah,
but I could still see him moving throughout the system a little bit quicker. And I'll turn it back to you, Ron, because I know you have thoughts about him.
Yeah, just really quick, because then I want to hear what Dubs and Juice have to say as well. But like, I remember in his draft profile, and then when he signed insanely above slot value in the 2nd round. Like the Cubs knew, they're like, we can't believe we got this guy. Like this is a pick for us in the second round. Fun fact, Brennan Davis, also second round pick at one point. So like this front office can find those back end guys. They also found Mookie Betts once back in the day when they were in Boston, they being Jed Hoyer. Dubs, who is your exciting prospect? And I might know this actually. I think I should know this, but I want to hear from you.
Who do you think? Who do you think?
I want to say that it's either Casey or Crowe Armstrong. No,
it's definitely Owen Casey.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Like just watching him, just like his at bats, him hit the ball, and you're just like, dude, he just torches it. And like you said, we're all about I think the Cubs right now are all about getting hits. Like, leave the home run balls behind. Let's just hit the ball all over the yard. Let's keep quarters in the merry-go-round. Let's keep it going. And so Owen Casey, one of my favorites. Also, Brennan Davis, prettiest swing, I think, right now. Pretty swing.
Dude, that Oppo power the other day that he showed was just like so natural. So natural.
This is the question I had. And I think I've asked Juice and Joey this once before. Maybe not on air, but I've asked it. And I want to hear your thought too, Dubs. Has nobody else noticed that Brennan Davis was in the gym this winter? Yeah. He looks like a completely different body compared to where he was last season.
It's just not me that thought that, because I'm looking at him on TV and I'm looking at the photo that I got with him this past fall, and I'm like, that is not the same dude,
bro. He looks like Jason Hayward but bigger, like just whoo. Homeboy looked like a little, like, you could tell he was 20 years old kid last season.
Somebody commented when I posted that photo, he needs to eat a sandwich. Because he looks so
skinny.
Right. I'm like, I think he ate a lot of sandwiches.
He's huge. Because again, this is not a shot at him, because he is that good of a ball player. But you see that power and that additional strength for him to take that ball Oppo the other day in that game, because it just popped out. Like that thing initially when he hit it, like you weren't terribly sure if it was going to go long or it was going to stay in the ballpark. That thing went.
All right.
Like that's grown man strength. He looks like a grown ass man coming into camp this year. Not no little prospect. So I'm okay. I'm glad everybody is in agreement with that. He looks big. Homeboy was in the gym. Juice, who's your prospect that you're excited to hear about?
Well, Ron, I was going to take Brennan Davis. And I was going to talk about his sandwich eating he did over the year as well. But no, I'll pivot on it real quick. Yeah. I'll pivot on it real quick. And I know that he's dropped, but I'm still excited for Braylon Marquez, because he's gone through a lot of injuries, and you can't teach, 100 from a lefty. If you can teach one extra pitch, this kid's going to be special. And that's something that it's another one we talked about last episode, Ron. Guys that the Cubs need to develop pitching wise. Like you said, they haven't had very many in the past. And Braylon Marquez coming off the injury, I'm excited to see him for next year. Hopefully take that next step. He had a blink of an eye in the majors in 20, when he was up for, I think, a game, maybe two games.
One game, yeah.
Against the White Sox. He got shelled around a little bit, and they ended up winning that game. But you can't teach that. And to kind of add another ticker on that as well, a guy I watched down here at South Bend at the end of the year, Burl Caraway, as well, did not have a good year last year. But lefties who throw hard are at such a premium in today's game that those are the guys who intrigue me. And just to kind of build on what we've seen from Steele, I hope that those two guys are taking that kind of next step in terms of what they've been teaching lefties down there in the system. And if that's the case, having two of those guys and three of those guys, hopefully with Steele being on the roster, you're looking at a lot of firepower from the left-hand side to get out lefty bats, and who are going to miss a lot of bats too. Caraway in college had a crazy amount of strikeouts, or K per 9, and he's got the talent to do it. He's just got to harness finding the strike zone. And being somebody who lives in South Bend and went to a lot of South Bend Cubs games last year, that was just clear that he would get himself into trouble, and he throws just hard enough to, if somebody puts the bat on the ball, it's going, man. And that was a lot of the problem last year, him finding the zone. And I'm intrigued for both those guys.
Yeah, I honestly think Braylon Marquez has a chance to become an elite closer. And I think that is really ultimately where he has the best big league success. I think he could still try to develop as a starter, but like you said, Juice, when you have a lefty that throws 102, he's been kicked. Bro, throw him in the bullpen when this team's competitive and actually trying to go to the playoffs and win World Series games. Like him coming out of the pen in the ninth. Again, look at when teams have had the most success is when they have an elite bullpen, unless they're elite offensively like the Cubs were. The Cubs were a very complete team. But like everybody remembers the Royals. If the game got to the 7th inning and they had the lead, it was over. It didn't matter because Herrera, Holland, and Davis were going to shut it down. And that was it. Like they were elite. If you can get something of that kind of recipe with any of these guys that maybe don't become starters, but like a Braylon Marquez who could be an elite closer, you take that and you run with it,
dude. And the fact that he would be like, you don't see a whole lot of really good closer types or setup guys that are really on a controllable contract. Like you see some of them, but like a lot of times teams will pay for that, right? Like they'll go out in free agency.
Look what the Cubs paid for Kimbrel.
Yeah, exactly. Like they had nothing there that season and they're like got desperate and they're like, yeah, let's go out and get Kimbrel. And we saw how that turned out that season, but we knew that Kimbrel was better than what he showed that year.
He got shelled today, by the way, in spring training. 5 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning.
You see who hit him?
No, who hit it?
Marisnik.
Oh, God. He with the Rangers?
Yeah, because
they played the White Sox.
Yeah, I saw Marisnik tied it up 5-5 against Kimbrel.
Wow.
Yo, the Sox had a 4-0 lead after the top of the first, and they lost like 10-5 or some bullshit like that. Our little dish at the South Side.
Right.
Really quick, we'll sneak that one in there. But
hey, Ron, like back to Marquez real fast. I think that's why. Like, of course, we haven't seen him because of the injury. We haven't seen him for a little while now. But I think that's why you're seeing him drop in the rankings. Of course, the Cubs are talented in the farm now, so that's a big part of it too. But because I think they're not projecting him to be that starter that we were hoping for, I think they're more projecting him to be that back end of the bullpen type of arm. And when it comes to rankings and stuff, like they take that into consideration, I think. Whether it's a starter or whether it's a reliever, I think they'll knock you a little bit more for being a stud reliever compared to like a stud starter. So I'm excited though for him. Like to Juice's point, like this guy could be legit out of the bullpen.
Yeah, he really could. And just a couple more to be chimed in. We saw Booj agreeing on the Triantos bit. Cody in here, Alexander Canario, because Alexander Canario has thighs that can crush coconuts. Just remember that, ladies and gentlemen. I will not give that up. That dude is tree trunks. He is unreal. And then our boy Tyler, one of our newest additions to Cubs on Tap, and the gang here of the Cubs writers over at On Tap Sportsnet. He says, "Howdy, boys. I did write an article about Caleb Killian the other day, and apparently I've got Tyler excited about Killian as well. That dude's got me excited. That dude is like the second coming of what Cubs fans wanted Mark Pryor to be if it wasn't for all the injuries.
Yeah, you got me excited about him.
He's special. So as everybody knows, I write a lot, especially over this last year and a half because I didn't have a corporate job. So I was just writing. That's all I did all day.
For like 6 different sports.
Yeah, it was dumb. I lost track at points. We were just on a mission. But I remember writing up all the trade articles. And I remember reading about Killian, and like I go through it all. And my dad, this is like my dad and I's relationship now, because we bicker because, it is what it is. But like he like, this is what we do. We talk sports. And he was like, what they got back today, would you like the most? I was like, at the time, I was like, well, obviously the Hoyer and Madrigal deal is fantastic. And Juicy brought up Madrigal. I'm excited about Nick. He looks nice in a Cubs uniform. He looks better in blue than he did in black anyway. But like, I was like, this Killian dude is sick from the Giants. I was like, we got the better end of that Giants deal for Bryant. I was like, he's going to be a stud. Because I looked, I was like, oh, he was an A-ball to start the year. Okay. And I looked, I'm like 4 games. It was like 4 games, 3 starts, 1 complete game. And I look at his K to walk ratio, and it's 32 Ks, 1 walk. And I was like, oh my God. It's video game numbers, literal video game numbers. It was unbelievable. Just very, very excited about that. But guys, pivoting a little bit off of spring training and onto some off-season stuff, and we kind of prefaced this one before we jumped on that we were going to talk about this. I'm very sad because now Nick is in Philly, and all I saw the whole day that he signed was the pictures of him and Schwarber doing the arms thing, and they're going to be doing it again. And I don't like it. It makes me sad. They should be Cubs. It's neither here nor there. I'll get over it when I have Phillies jerseys hanging in my closet. But guilty little pleasure there. Sorry, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be one night. It might happen on opening day. I might be so hyped up and having a good time in Wrigleyville that just the magical fingers go online and order a jersey. It's happened before. But Carlos Correa is big news. And Dubs, I wanted to specifically ask you about this because you are up in the Minnesota market. You're in the Minneapolis market. So I cannot imagine what the last few days, and you even joked about it across all sports. Marc-Andre Fleury, we cover Blackhawks news here in Chicago. He's now up in Minnesota for their playoff run. The Timberwolves are like kind of playing well. The Cats like the best big man shooting, best shooting big man in the league. Like there's some exciting shit going on in Minnesota sports, and Carlos Correa signs a monster 3-year deal, which I think a lot of Cubs fans were all sitting there being like, why couldn't we get that?
I think I woke up and I looked at it and I go, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, everybody did. Everybody was like, it's like the SpongeBob meme where it's like you do the eyes and then you see it actually what it is, and it's Correa to the Twins as the alert on your phone. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Dude, I saw that that Joe Biden like clip where he's like, somebody posted that like right after the signing. They're like, nobody, and then underneath it was like Carlos Correa at 1 a.m. or whatever.
That's right, because it was
late. Joe Biden.
Yeah. It was a late signing. That's right, because I think everybody woke up to it. That's why it was so surprising. Because it was like,
I was trying to wake up my Twin fan friends. I'm like, hey, wake, like tagging them, nothing. Yeah. Like they woke up and they're like, what the fuck?
They're not, bro. It's winter in the Midwest. We're still sleeping.
Oh yeah,
right.
But it was funny.
We hibernate.
It was funny looking at Twitter as people woke up and they just saw it because you're like, you see it building, and you see people going, what?
Hilarious. I definitely agree though. Like it's a contract that, just looking at the contract, it's something that you think that the Cubs would have been able to talk him into or spend an extra couple dollars to get that. And I mean, I know we're spending wisely right now, but when you see the opt-outs and
is it wise? Is it really? Every other pitcher on the market's getting $5 million right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would have taken it, right?
Cubs are actually, they also released the not to get too far sidetracked, we'll bring it back here. The top payrolls in the MLB that was released earlier because like Jock Peterson clowned the Guardians, the Pirates, and
the Orioles.
The A's haven't spent a dime the whole offseason.
Like, that graphic was hilarious. You just see A's zero.
Yeah, right. Like
they're all getting clowned, dude. They're all getting clowned on Twitter right now, and like Cubs, I think we're like right in the middle of the pack. We're actually just under San Francisco. They're like 147. The Cubs are like 130. I can't even tell you the last time the Cubs had 130 as their payroll. It's been too long. But I mean, like, it's just one of those things with the payroll thing. I'm very fascinated by that, by the way, too, that the Cubs are that low. Did you guys know the White Sox are 183 million?
Mm-hmm. Nope.
That's crazy. I didn't realize they were that high. Anyway, bringing it back onto the topic here of the Correa deal, but like, I am so floored that the Twins did that. I guess that he agreed to that, right? Because we kept hearing this thing that like, the Cubs were trying to talk him down from like 10 years to 7 and this, that, and the other. And like, you effectively take a 1-year deal to go to Minnesota. Like what?
Yeah,
why couldn't that have happened in Chicago? I guess. And I know we're continuing to go around the horn here, but like,
Spin zone here.
Just blown away by it.
Spin zone here. He could opt out after this year and sign here next year. Like,
why not? Doesn't Hayward drop off the books next year?
I think so.
Oh,
or is it one more year?
2 years.
I think it might be one more.
Yeah, he's got another year.
Dude, that dude's been here for an eternity.
Yeah,
it's the never-ending contract.
It really is.
But yeah, like the people up here in Minnesota, they're all like, "Oh, we got Correa, we got him, 3 years." And I'm like, "Do you? I'm like, have you looked at the contract? It's 1 year. It's a 1 year deal with an opt out, which I 100% already think he's going to opt out after next year and then get his big payday in a regular offseason market, not a lockout offseason market. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a Twins fan watching this for some reason, do not buy that Correa jersey. You're just going to just give the money to me and I'll buy you a jersey.
Well, they turn over their roster a lot too anyway. So it's like he could definitely, I don't know, maybe not tell like writing on the wall. They do have a lot of prospects coming too, and like Kirilloff and like a lot of these guys. But I mean, they made a lot of moves this offseason. I was really surprised with what the Twins did. Like the trade with the Yankees. I mean, Sonny Gray. They did a lot. So maybe
Mike, I guess the question about why. I mean, I know that division's open, but if they are kind of waiting on prospects too, have you heard anything as to why on the radio of why they're going at it?
I think they're just going for it this year. I think that's honestly is, hey, this is the year. Let's just do it. And I mean,
it's so weird.
Yeah, I think if my buddy asks me all the time, like, or he asked me today, he goes, how did the Cubs not give Correa this contract? And I'm like, well, maybe the Cubs, I don't know if they were talking or what, but they probably maybe said, you know what, we want to keep you for the 3 years. We don't want to have the option. We want you to be here for the 3 years, and we'll give you this. So, but I'm hoping that he opts out next year and then says, you know what, I'm going to Chicago.
Maybe this is a case too, to your point, Dubs. Like maybe this is a case where Minnesota is like they're competing this year, but maybe they'd use it as trade bait this year too. Like
that's what I was going to say at the trade deadline. Use them,
huge trade target. Like I mean, and maybe they think some of their prospects are further along. Like they think they're going to really take off this year, which Jordan Belzovich, whatever his name is, the pitcher, he should be there at some point. I can't even pronounce some of these names, but who knows? I don't know. Like Byron Buxton, if you get a healthy Byron Buxton, like that dude's elite when he's healthy. Yeah, he's never healthy.
Won't hold my breath on that one.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting though, right? Because like you guys said, like, oh, they're going for it for 1 year. Like, you really think you're gonna beat the Sox? Like, are you that much better? Maybe. I don't know. Like, that's just kind of like my like, where did this come from? Especially because like they're all very short-term moves for the most part of what they've been doing. Like, it really does feel like that just 1 and go for it or 2 and go for it.
Yeah, that's what they're all saying up here is that they're like a starting pitcher away. And it's funny because as soon as they signed Correa, this one guy that works in our sister station, the sports station, just goes, "Can he pitch?"
Yeah, right.
And I'm like,
yeah, that's
no, but he can bag a trash can for you.
They're going to turn him into Ohtani.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe here you go. Like Jake Booz jumping in the comments here. If Buxton plays a full season, he's winning AL MVP. Book.
He's a monster when he's
healthy. He is a monster, but like that dude's the definition of a walking injury. Like, yeah,
he can never stay healthy.
Yeah, he made a catch yesterday or whatever where he ran into the wall to rob a home run. I'm like, dude, it's spring training, my dude.
Why? Come on, don't pull him, Eloy. Like, come on.
Yeah, seriously, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. That would be so bad. But I don't know. That's so interesting. But like maybe, and so this is actually something interesting that came up here. Cody dropping this in the comments. Patrick Mooney reported the Cubs never offered him a contract. I believe that because like they were in talks with him, but like there was all these reports like they were trying to talk him down off a number. So it wasn't like, hey, we're offering you this contract at this many years. Right. Will you take it? It was like, no, hey, would you? Because if you will, we'll drop the paperwork. But if not, we're not going to waste our time. And I think that's smart on the part of Jed because I actually kind of like what the Cubs are doing. And I feel like the more and more I hear about this, the more and more it makes sense. But like the spring training is so short. Pitchers aren't going to, unless they're like the superhuman pitchers, probably aren't going 4, 5, for sure not 6 innings in their first starts this year.
Right.
And maybe that might be the case for a couple of weeks to start the season. And I think there's the report that they're expanding the rosters a little bit too for the beginning of the year.
As
they should.
28
Dude,
man, I think.
Yeah, they're just gonna carry these long, like starter borderline guys, your Drew Smileys of the world, and some of these signings the Cubs are making, Brault and some of these other guys. those are the piggyback guys. They're coming out in the, fourth inning or fifth inning and trying to get you to at least the seventh, if not the eighth. Depending again how deep some of these guys go into games, like it's gonna be what we saw in Alzolay's debut, right? Him and Montgomery piggybacked off each other. 4-4 was their desired split, and they actually got it that night. Like, I'm not against that. I think that's wise. I think just the Cubs decided, like, hey, look, we like the team that we've assembled. We're not too much crazy money yet. I think they really think some of these prospects are ahead of schedule. I think they think guys like Killian and Davis are ahead of schedule. Maybe they do come up as youngsters and make a difference. Look at, again, I need to write this article, dude. It's coming. It's coming. They continue to build in the model of the Giants. The Cubs are building in the model of the San Francisco Giants because Logan Webb made a big stride last year and kind of came out of nowhere as their like top young pitcher. That's, for the future now. And they got unreal contribution out of guys that you probably had never heard of if you weren't in the San Fran market.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's kind of what the Cubs look like right now on paper. Do I think they're going to win the NL Central like the Dodgers or the Giants managed to win the NL West? No. But in a bad NL Central, they're going to at least make noise. They can probably get that wild card spot. But I think that's what Jed sees. He's like, look, we can still be competitive in a transition year with being actually able to fill holes either by spending money or by some of these kids being ready. Like, they are setting up for 2023 while still being a fun team in 2022 that the fans can rally around and enjoy. Again, this gives me 2015 Cubs vibes. And I kind of respect how they're doing it. They're saying some of these big guys, if you want to come for what we want to do it. If you don't, it's cool. We'll make somebody else work because we'll keep using up all the money to get everybody else instead of paying you.
That's got to be a little Carter Hawkins too, right? I mean, that's kind of
100%.
On the flip side, having him there and having him in Jed's ear as well, knowing what he knows of what he built up in Cleveland, and helped into the future. That is a huge, ace in the hole for Jed and for the Cubs. You got to be excited about who they bring in pitching wise. And you talked about Killian earlier, and if they're able to do that, a lot of things are going to fall into place because they're going to spend money, man. They are. And they didn't get Correa, and that sucks. But they still went out, and they got Suzuki, and they went out and they got Stroman, and they're building, and they're probably building maybe a year out, right? You're hoping that this year, you see what you got down in the minors and what can project for next year, and maybe next year is your 15 year if you're lucky. But to build on that, you just got to trust the process of what these two guys are doing because they've gathered the information that they deemed as mistakes from what I think is like the Theo Epstein era of kind of playing into the long ball and the launch angle for so long and kind of flipping it and say, no, let's have guys who are going to bang it around the ball field. And then they're kind of bringing in guys who are better at developing pitching and developing at the major league level and evaluating talent, even going into the draft. You got to be excited with both those guys running because personally, I think Jed's going to do the right thing to bring in the best position players who are young and then add with pieces that fit. And I also think that what Carter Hawkins does so well is identifies stud pitching. So you've got both of those kind of areas tapped, man. It's exciting.
Dude, you got Kantrovitz and Hawkins. Kantrovitz comes from the Cardinals athletics model of developing pitching, dude. They churn out dudes from every other year.
Like grabbing off the scrap heap. Now you got 3 tiers of just player evaluation and development that is like, it's almost like the Empire in Star Wars-ish, right? Like you had the Emperor who was, kind of overseeing it all. You had Darth who was just badass. Then you had the whole army, which we can kind of give Kantrovitz is like hey man, we got all these, I hate to be all nerdy here, but hey, that's what
Kantrovitz is Darth Maul. Stop it.
Well, he gets whatever. but but just to go into that, like that's kind of like what they're building, and you got to be excited for it, man.
You absolutely do, and I think it's something we will continue to get excited about, gentlemen. I I know we said we were going to try to keep the show a little shorter tonight. We're not going to, but for effort of time, we'll continue to move this thing forward. I have 2 more points that I quickly want to get to, and then I'm happy if you want to have another rabbit hole or however you guys want to take this thing. Obviously, Castellanos makes me sad, but that happened. And good for him getting his money in Philly. I think that's absolutely a contract the Cubs could have paid him, and I'm pissed that they didn't. And 2, the Cubs also announced their promotional schedule in 2022. I think it's cool because we joked about Star Wars, right? There's a Star Wars Day. They're doing a lot of theme days and theme nights, which I think is kind of cool. I've never really attended any of those, but like that sounds like that'll be fun. And then they got some sick bobbleheads this year, dude, and some other cool like Bleacher Friday giveaways and shit like that. Like they're going back to that again. I need to be at the ballpark on September 17th for the Marcus Stroman bobblehead. If I don't get one, I will riot.
I'm gonna have to make a trip.
Absolutely riot. But they have some fun guys. It's Ross, Wisdom doing the little like show the top of the chest thing when he rounds third plate.
Legendary.
Third base. Nico making a defensive play like the Gold Glove shortstop he can potentially be. And then Nicky Madrigal in his little like school day picture as a bobblehead too. I thought that one was funny. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I don't know. It gives this like, it gives me this like, it's like T-ball pictures. Like,
yep. He's definitely Henry Rowan Gardner.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. But then they also have the Stro Show and David Ross are the other ones, throughout. So it's a pretty good cast of bobbleheads this year and giveaways. And I was just unsure if you guys had a favorite giveaway that's coming up this season. Obviously, I've already shared mine. It's the Stroman bobblehead, but I don't know. Just trying to round the show out with some of the bubblegum talk of what's left really to talk about besides getting excited for opening day here in Cubs fandom.
Yeah, I love the bobblehead, especially within the City Connect jersey, which makes it like so confirmed sick. They're going to wear those on Fridays now.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yes. I didn't even think about
I love those, by the way. I don't something more kind of like
because Wisdom's is in that jersey too.
So is Stroh's.
Yeah, they both are. Right. That's exactly.
Yeah, and they said bobblehead Fridays.
I love that.
They really grew on me. Like at first I was like, they're different,
did.
And then
it's the hat, bro, like Dubs has.
Dude, this hat is sick.
Yeah.
I am so pissed.
Shout out my wife, Christmas.
I love
that.
That's
a beautiful hat. I need one of those so badly. So badly.
See, I was always a fan of Fridays in the Bleacher, the Bud Light, the bucket hats. Remember when they used to do that? I don't know if they still do that or not.
They're doing it this year.
Nice. That I'll find myself there.
Yes.
I'll find myself there. I'll get the bucket hat.
Juice,
There's nothing like being at the grill out and you're the guy in the bucket hat. Like that is just epic. Like I always like if I go to a cookout, I'm like, man, like that guy's got a bucket hat. I'm hanging out with him. He's pretty cool. He's got to be. You never met a dude in a bucket hat who like doesn't want to have a good conversation. To be honest here, guys.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's absolutely magical. I think there's been some good ones. Joey, what's yours? Get me excited. Get me a good one.
I really can't because I didn't even really take a peek at what their giveaways
were.
I'm horrible.
You couldn't even lie to me and tell me it was going to be Star Wars night.
Say it's the Joey. Neon tank top Budweiser.
Dude, that tank top looks sick.
I didn't see that, honestly, but I'm not even like a Star Wars fan, so I can't even give you that.
Joey, you have a homework assignment because you were late for the podcast.
I'm checking all this. I'm looking through every single giveaway now.
Yes, your detention homework is to go through the giveaways and tell me which one's your favorite on the next show. But continue. Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I mean, that was about it. Since I don't really have one, I can't really give you one.
Okay, well, then that's your homework. That's your homework assignment.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at. I'll come back. I'll be prepared, and I will give you my favorite. And I'm sure I can find a few that I really like. So
for the time being, I'm gonna hit you with the Ron Burgundy "I Don't Believe You" gift, but we'll see. I'm gonna hold you to that one. But gentlemen, I want to turn it over to
you like the Ricketts now. You're treating me like Tom.
Are you betting on a soccer team by chance?
I am not, but I'm betting on them.
Okay, well, I respect betting because you win the money. You're not spending money. You're getting money. The Ricketts want to go spend money, but biblical losses.
Just such a horrible
that you
look.
Shouldn't be trying to buy a team that's worth $4 billion.
Dude, did you guys? I'm sure you guys already talked about that a lot, or maybe like at the beginning. But it's such a horrible look, man. Like with the Contreras thing too. Like, you have all this money, you're not even close to the luxury tax really, and you can't even give him an extra $1.25 million. Like, I understand that it's like Giolito, like his situation too. Like the Sox are fighting him for what, 200,000?
No, it's 50K.
Just unreal.
The report, $50,000 over literally what they pay the dude that works in their front office that does their payroll checks every 2 weeks, bro. It's the same salary that you're fighting him over.
I mean, that's so like we can't night in the craft cave over there on the south side, isn't it?
Dude, the craft cave probably does double that on a good Saturday night at the games.
When you think about it, we really can't complain that much since they're like begging for a Conforto signing and they're getting like they're fighting with Giolito over 50,000. Like,
oh man, they don't want to spend money, dude. Yeah. I told Josh Harrison was their sexy signing.
Mm-hmm. Joe Kelly. It's always like a reliever or like Kelly, something.
Maybe. Yeah. I do like, dude, Joe Kelly. That was a funny sighting, though. I wanted Joe Kelly on the Cubs. Like, I like Joe Kelly a lot. That's a guy I would give a couple.
I can't wait to watch that whole division.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun.
Yeah, you got a front seat to it up there in Minnesota too.
You got Joe Kelly, Correa, so Twins, White Sox, and then you got Amir Garrett and Javi, Royals and Tigers.
Dude, Javi, we were just talking about this on the last show. Dubs, you should have been here for that conversation. Javi is going to get booed at the G spot next season when the Tigers come to town because he's gonna perform in Chicago.
He's gonna show out, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I can't wait till he pimps a walk-off home run. Oh, White Sox Twitter is going to be unbearable.
Where they're gonna hate him even more because there's asshole Cub fans like us who are gonna go
1,000%
and wear their El Mago shirts.
I've already
walk in there. It's gonna happen.
We're going to be the guys that'll do that. Yeah,
I already found.
And that's why they're gonna hate him more than anybody out there.
I've already found the series when the Tigers are here for the first time in Chicago. It's in like June, I think. It's perfect. It's a Friday night too. Yeah,
they're up here. They're up here the end of April, and I already got the tickets. April 27th, going wearing my Mago Forever shirt.
Let's go.
Yeah, gonna have a sign.
Let's go.
Yes, we're gonna be unbearable Cubs fans. I enjoy that. We don't
the Tigers. Tigers gonna be fun to watch for the next couple of years too, man.
They will be.
They got a lot of pitching that's really close. They're gonna be really fun, man.
Yeah,
I really like that Erod move. Eduardo Rodriguez. I think he got so unlucky last year. Like pitching in those ballparks in that division, I think he could be really good for them.
Dude, like, he's always been like sneaky good.
Oh yeah, and like his cutter too. Like pitching in the AL East, those ballparks, it's just super hard, man. Like
because they're all hitters parks.
Yeah, all of them. Like
every single one of them.
Except for maybe like the Rays, you could argue, I guess. But like
no, Tropicana's a hitter's park.
Is it? I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, I guess.
Dude, it's a dome. It's a dome with not ridiculous dimensions. Like it's. I've watched dudes tattoo balls out of that.
Let's be honest. That's a no one's park.
That one's fine. And then you got Camden.
It's just a shithole. Like
what team backed up their left field fence this year? Was it
Baltimore?
Pittsburgh? Yeah, it was Baltimore.
Baltimore,
because Baltimore was such a hitter's park because of that porch. Mm-hmm. Like Camden Yards was that way. Like AL East is confirmed a hitter's dream.
Uh-huh.
Dude, the day you were talking about on that Friday night with the Sox and Tigers game, is there a Cubs game, a home game,
like a one
during the day?
Oh, like a day night.
Yeah.
I got to do that this past season, Dubs.
That's
to share that with you.
Move.
I've
never done that, but I was gonna say if there is, dude, I would love to do that.
I'd be down to do that again. It's a marathon, but it's a good time. It's better to do on a Friday though. Like actually, my buddy and I that I did this with last year. So we went on it was Saturday, September 11th. But it was the Giants were in town playing the Cubs, so we got to see KB, which was cool. Uh-huh. And then the Sox were playing the Red Sox, so we got to see Schwarber. And both Chicago teams lost. My buddy was like a genie with a crystal ball calling every single play in the Sox game, which was hysterical because he's literally like in a creepy way always right. Just I know you guys will appreciate this as baseball fans, like predicting what's going to happen. Uh-huh. He literally called like a robbed home run being the most important play of the game, and it was because the Sox lost by a single run, and it would have been a 2-run shot had it not been robbed. he called the Osmani Grandal parking one into the Goose Island, which I shook him like a rag doll on accident because I got so excited that he called it. Like he called Craig Kimbrell blowing the game, and he did. Like it was funny, dude. It's so bad. I need to get him on.
Ron, you know what you can do?
Oh, and sorry, just really quick. And Cody and I actually, we did not buy tickets together.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I remember that.
Our tickets were right next to each other. Because I told him what section I was sitting in. And he's like, oh, I'm in that section too. I was like, oh, cool. Like maybe he'll be a couple rows down, whatever. No. Literally the 2 seats next to mine.
That's insane.
I come by and my buddy's like, who's sitting in our seats? I was like, I have no idea. I go down to be like, excuse me. And he turns and he looks at me and it's Cody. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, hi, buddy. He goes, hi, buddy. He goes, where are you guys sitting? I go, right here. He goes, no shit. We're right here. Dumbest thing ever. It was so funny. But yeah, so we got to hang out during that game. That was a lot of fun too. It's a good time. It's a good time when the Cubs on Tap gang gets together. Dubs, you got to let us know when you said in June, right? You're in town?
June 15th. Bleachers, baby. My birthday.
All right, gentlemen, we're going. Appointment television. We're going to go make that happen. We're going to go party with Dubs in the bleachers. I'm glad you're a bleachers guy. Thank you. Because like, I feel like I get a lot of crap from that for some of my friends.
Oh, yeah, I love
like,
the bleachers.
Why do you want to always sit in the bleachers? I'm like, because fuck the regular bowl, dude. The bleachers is the best place to be at Wrigley.
We're gonna do left field bleachers for my birthday on the 15th, and then the 16th. Imagine. Wife and I have like actual seats.
Oh, nice.
Because I was like, well, they're nice seats. So I was like, we need to have like nice seats.
Oh, okay.
For the next day.
Like, what's nice seats? Like, are you down like first baseline? Are you like kind of home plate?
Third baseline, like 13 rows from the field.
Oh, okay. Those are nice seats. Also, Dubs, you have homework too. Remind Cody, because Mr. Delmendo
I will.
would like to join us. Cubs on Tap alumni. Our first Cubs on Tap alum that's actually been like kind of hanging out with us again, which is fun. It's he's actually just because he's with CHDO. We were talking about them earlier on. Anyway, I love that. I absolutely love that. But yeah, we might have to make that happen, Joey, with doing the Detroit.
Absolutely.
It'll be better because Saturday it was a Saturday 1-6 game that cuts it too tight. The 1-7 is what you got to do. And usually it's with the White Sox, they do 6:00 Saturday games, 7:00 Friday night games. So Friday.
That'd be perfect, man. We'll have to check on that. I didn't know. Maybe somebody can check that. My phone's off right now, but
I'm on it.
Or we can do it when we get off out of here. But yeah, man. It'd be crazy. You were talking about your buddy that like calls and predicts stuff during the game
all the time, dude.
You can live bet like what's gonna happen the next at bat or next pitch.
I've heard about that.
Good, dude. I will be like, I'll just fire stuff away. And I've actually heard stories that
I should tell him to do that.
I've actually heard stories too that some people or some of the books are like delayed. So if you're live in person, you can actually like hammer it if you're at the game. The like live.
I was gonna say it's a thing that only is able to do in like they have a sports book in the ballpark thing. Like I think what the Cubs and Sox are both trying to do now that it's illegal in Illinois.
So maybe if that happens, away then
that would be electric. They would have to put like you cannot bet more than X amount of dollars doing this because like people will literally lose their life savings doing that because that adrenaline rush is addicting.
Oh yeah,
for a lot of people where it's like every pitch you're like it's a ball, it's got to be a ball. And you get like so crazed by it. He throws a ball and you like almost punch somebody in the head on accident. Like
no, I would only bet it if like I was sure probably like I saw it happen.
Yeah, this is actually good. It is July. I'm sorry, it's not June. It's July. Oh, I won't be here that weekend. Damn it. Okay, but they come back later. They come back August 12th. But that's a 6:00 game. Damn it. That's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll make it.
I was going to say because I was looking.
Or we can wait all the way until the end of September. The 23rd of September, they play at 7:10 on a Friday night against Detroit. So far out.
We'll see some call-ups by then. That might be fun.
Wait, you said when? September what?
September 23rd.
Cubs are on the road.
Oh, damn it. We'll figure it out. We'll make that work. We'll talk about that off air. But gentlemen, I want to quickly turn it back over to you. Quick final thoughts before we go ahead and wrap the show up for the night and give Dubs his night back. So so we don't get yelled at by his wife for taking up his entire night.
No, it's all good. All good.
Gentlemen, last thoughts. Spew away.
I'm excited about this season. I mean, I'm excited to see like when we got Madrigal, I'm like, yes, we got Madrigal will get on. Nico will hit him over. Like, I'm all about the contact hitting that we have now. Like, I'm happy that we're not going to have like these guys that just home run. It's like, okay, let's spray it around the ballpark.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Yeah, it's going to be very different. It's not going to be, it's not going to be all about the long ball. We'll get enough for the long ball, but it's not going to be all about the long ball anymore.
And Cubs fans, patience. Patience is key right now. I know you want instant gratification. Patience.
That's why we got Instagram. Go get a lot of Instagram likes going at the Cubs. Go to Cubs games and get a lot of Instagram likes, and you'll get that instant gratification that way. Juice, what are your final thoughts, my good sir?
No, first, Dubs, thanks for coming on, man. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to share the mic with somebody who grew up in the area I also grew up in. And yeah, man, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that a lot of things too, like patience, you could be extra patient if you're invested into these guys. And I kind of said it throughout this whole podcast, and I've said it going into this year. I think what us as Cubs fans need to do is find different ways to get excited about, this season. Because obviously there's a wide array of where these guys can finish. The likelihood of them making a run and making the playoffs is probably not the likely outcome. So finding out, what these guys are good at, watching them grow, I think that's the theme for this year. The tagline is it's different here, but I think my tagline for this year is watch them grow. I think that's going to be something that we can all kind of get on board to and sit and watch these prospects come up when their time is ready and adjust to the big league level. And to build on it, you said it, be patient, because they're going to struggle and be a lot of ups and downs. But with that said, the talent that is kind of showing in the minor leagues is huge, and we should be excited about that.
I love that. Joey, what do you got? I'm saving that. Don't worry. We all saw that come through.
I have not seen it, so I'm looking forward to what I'm about to see. To build on your guys' point there, like what Juice said, what you just said, I love your point about building with this team, growing with this team. And that's what made it so fun before, right? Like we all were just waiting for the shoe to drop as far as like when's this team gonna come over the hump. And now we're just like kind of starting this climb again, but it doesn't feel like it's completely from the bottom. It's more like you're from the middle here and you're not as far away from the top of the hill. So that's what's really cool. And I just like advise anybody that's a Cubs fan that's getting down about this team and the lack of spending or lack of big name free agents other than, Seiya and Stroman, like it's fine. Like you don't have to make all your splash moves at once in order to be competitive, to win games like you guys talked about earlier in the show with the Giants. I mean, how many times were those pesky teams, did they have those guys that, to Dubs' point, your Tommy Edmonds, your Colton Wongs, like those guys, those contact guys that just beat the ball around the yard and they stay in games, they manufacture runs. Like how many times with the Cubs was it so boom or bust to the point where you're either getting shut out or one run or you're getting 10 runs in a game? And we had too many droughts where it was just like shutout or one run baseball. And I'm excited that maybe we can like put up a consistent 3, 4, 5 runs a game with this brand of baseball, because not many teams are actually doing this now because they are building on the OBP, patience at the plate. We don't care if there's strikeouts, but we want long balls. We're going the other direction. And I think that's really cool with this transition of the way that the game is going. We're kind of taking it to the other level, and maybe other teams are going to be a little bit slower to come back around the other side, and we can be one of those real pesky teams, those pesky outs. So that's what makes me really excited, and just the growth of the players. Like, not to talk for too long because I know we want to sign out here, but I just love what I'm seeing from some of these prospects, and you never know how many of them are going to actually pan out or who is not going to pan out, but you can take away individual performances. Like if everything goes south, if this team's like a 69 win team or something crazy, like you could take away the individual. Yeah. See what I did there? I think you could take away the individual performances, right? And that would be nice. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that, Ron.
That would be real nice. And our alum Cody shares his final thoughts are fuck St. Louis, fuck Yadier Molina, who blocked him on, I believe it was Instagram because he's soft. The Cardinals traded Patrick Wisdom for a washing machine. True story. Rockies are very dead to Cody. Very, very dead to Cody. Extend Contreras, fuck soccer teams in Europe, LOL Chelsea, and Cubs in for a beautiful shout out because it is different here, as the new slogan that came out today says. Dom, the director of morale in Cubs Fandom, doing a good job there.
Don't forget what else he said.
Yeah,
there you go.
And don't forget Houston +5. Joey, how do you feel about that one? Resident on tap bets master.
I forget what's the matchup. It's Houston and
Arizona.
Oh, +5. I actually kind of like that, but I took Arizona.
Houston's been playing very well for where they're seated.
I like that a lot. I took Arizona when it was -1 when it opened up, so we can middle there. I'll take +5 now. I like that, Cody.
I dig that. I totally dig that. Yeah, no, Jet, I think my final thoughts are when we all wake up tomorrow and when our podcast listeners wake up and listen to this on Thursday, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks till we're, or at least I am, and I think Juice will be as well, in the bleachers at Wrigley Field for opening day. I am over the moon. I can't wait. I'm so excited for it. I'm like staying in the city for the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday too. Like it's going to be sweet. It's like a mini vacation for me. So I'm super, super excited about it. Unbelievably excited about it. But gentlemen, outside of that, I just want to remind everybody too that Cubs on Tap is the official Cubs podcast of the On Tap Sports Network. Go ahead and check out all of our great work over at www.ontapsportsnet.com and at OnTapSportsNet on social media. You can follow the pod specific accounts on Twitter and Instagram. We are at Cubbies, that's Cubbies on tap. I am at Loose on Tap on Twitter. Joey is at Joey Knows Nothing without the G because the IN stands for win, baby. Juice is at Juice on Tap on Twitter, and go follow our great guest Dubs. Hopefully we get you on a couple more times throughout the year.
Sure.
But you are at Mike Dubs Radio on Twitter. If you don't already follow him, I feel like most of Cubs Fandom does at this point, let's be totally honest, but if you don't already, be sure to go do so. That's where you can find all of us. And as for On Tap Sportsnet, Blackhawks are about to start here. Actually, they just did 6 minutes ago as we're recording this. Blackhawks coverage, Bulls coverage, Bears coverage, and we're 3 out of the 4 of us here are Southsiders at heart. We all have friends that are White Sox fans. You send them our way as well. We got some of the best Chicago sports coverage around. So once again, that's www.ontapsportsnet.com, at OnTapSportsNet on social media. You can find On Tap Bets as well. Joey is running that ship now. And with our friends over at Bet Rivers, get a up to $250 deposit match. When you create a new account with them, you can sign up mobilely again. That whole stupid bullshit about having to be in person is gone now, thanks to the ordinance becoming null, and they just didn't renew it and extend it any further. Thank goodness. So that was super well needed. Be sure to go follow at On Tap Bets, and again at Joey because he's on a hitter. Pick of the day on TikTok, bro. Is what? Are we gonna hit? Are we gonna hit tonight?
I hope so. We're looking for 11-3. If we get the Ducks right, sorry, Ron and the Blackhawks fans. I'm a Blackhawks fan, but yeah,
sometimes you gotta bet smart money, not with your heart, with your head, dude. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. We understand. No, I like where your head's at. But yeah, 11-3. So be sure to be following on TikTok and at On Tap Bets as well for all that good gambling content. The On Tap Sports Network. Go ahead and check out what's on tap in Chicago sports. Gentlemen, this is always a pleasure. Dubs, as Juice said, thank you so much for coming on, good sir. Finally happy we got to organize this and make this work. I will give a shout out to the one and only Cody Del Mendo because he made sure to remind me that you had reached out to him about coming on a couple weeks back.
Love Cody.
Thank you for doing that. Was well needed. And I'm glad we got to do this. We'll do this again. Probably very much sooner than later, is what I hope. But we'll definitely be in touch about that. But gentlemen, without further ado, what do you say we get out of here the only way we know how to here at Cubs on Tap? Let's go Cubbies.
Go Cubs.
Go Cubs.